Hey guys, it's me, Sophia Sebrin, and today we're going to be talking about my 2025 Coachella experience. And boy, is it an interesting one. I have a lot to tell you guys, so let's dive right in. Basically, this is my third Coachella. The first Coachella I snuck into, I used my friend's wristbands and we did the pass back method. So honestly, if you guys want to go to Coachella, I low-key kind of recommend that way or that strategy if you don't have the money for it, but also you guys didn't hear it from me. I just think it would be a good idea to do that. You know, just putting that out there. I've heard the pass back method, it works. And for legality reasons, none of that was true. And then I believe the second year I went was 2024, and I went with my friend Yvette and I went with my other friend June, and that was a grand old time. But basically Yvette introduced me to all of her like camper friends and stuff, who I like to call like lesbian campers. It was just a lot of lesbians, but they know their shit, y'all. They are the best people to camp with. They even brought like a portable toilet. And they were like cooking meals every single morning. It was carne asada, and then you wake up and they give you a michelada, which is just like, it was awesome vibes, okay? So I was like, okay, every time I go to Coachella, I'm going to be camping with this group of people. I had to go to Coachella 2025 because your girl is a big festival girly, and I'm also a little monster. So your girl had to see Miss Gaga, and then also Charli XCX was there, A.G. Cook, Disco Lines. Like, there were so many artists on that lineup, and it was really good EDM wise too, that I was like, we have to go. We have to go see like Sarah Landry, Emily Lenz. There were just so many people. My boyfriend's birthday is in April, so for his gift, I ended up buying him a ticket, I believe. Yeah, I think I paid for his ticket. And I also convinced my friends Mustafa and Chance to get on board as well. But the thing is, Mustafa and Chance, they live in Texas, and then me and my boyfriend, we live here. But I also decided, hey, we should like splurge this year and we should get a camper van. So the thing about Coachella is you can do tent camping or you can do car camping. And the thing is, you can bring a van as your car. And so we went over to Indie Campers, which basically they rent out these like 2-story vans. It's not really 2-story, but it's like a really tall van with a bed in the back and then like a bed also in the roof area. It has a table, it has a kitchen, and then also a shower, but you can't use the shower at Coachella. But I was like, Chance, we've been to Halloween, which is another camping festival in Florida, and I was like, I know you don't like camping. I know the heat can be unbearable in Coachella. And Mustafa also, it was like one of his first experiences, and none of us are like pro campers is the thing. So I was like, okay, we should definitely get a van. And so we did that. And honestly, I still highly recommend that everybody gets a van if they have the opportunity and the funds to do that for Coachella, because it just makes things a little more comfortable, which is needed when you're out there in the desert for more than 4 days. Chance flies into town, Mustafa flies into town, vibes are high. We all go together to get the van, and then we go grocery shopping at Walmart. We're like, oh, we're gonna make PB&Js. We get a bunch of Ferrero Rochers and stuff. We get our bottled water. We're dominating this shit. We're like, yes, we're going to conquer Coachella this year. It's gonna be such a good time and just good vibes. Dev, my boyfriend, he loves to drive, so he drove the van the whole way. I offered to drive, but he was like, you're my princess, I'm gonna be the one driving. So to start our journey, Dev starts driving, and then I made a plan with my friend Yvette along the way. I was like, yo, we would love to link up. We would like to make one massive like campsite with the lesbianas. And she was like, yeah, like we're game. You know what, let's just caravan from, I forget the name of the city, but it's definitely further out from LA, but it's like in California and on the way to Palm Springs. So she was like, yes, let's just like caravan and we'll go from there. I'm like, okay, bet. So we leave so early because we try to beat Coachella traffic, and then around 11 p.m. or midnight, we get to Yvette's house, and then we're just like waiting and stuff because, they're packing their cars and all of that. And I just felt bad because like Dev was like driving the whole time. Everybody was kind of tired. They wanted to take a break, but in order to get one, a good spot, and then two, beat the traffic, we left like the day before. And then also, I'm also just a big advocate of like, we should be there on day 0, which is basically like the first day of camping, but there's no music going on in the actual festival. For me, that was a really fun experience the previous year, because there's like this tradition where you sit on a hill and with everybody else who's camping at Coachella, and you guys watch the sunset, and it's just so beautiful. And I was like, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. So we were waiting for our friends, and then finally we leave, and then Dev's driving, and then I'm in the back with Chance, and Chance falls asleep, and then I fall asleep. So it was just like Dev and Mustafa being all buddy boys, getting to know each other in the front, which was like absolutely beautiful. And then at some point I wake up and there's just like a sandstorm. Like, like what is going on? There's just like wind rattling the van, and then I look out front and it's just like literally a bunch of dust, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, what is going on? It was very interesting, but we got through it and we ended up getting to the Coachella destination. But then you have to wait in line for hours and hours. So we were waiting for them to open up the gates. Finally, we were able to get through the gate. They finally opened up the doors, and we're like, yes, it's like Coachella time. And we drive in, and then it was just chaos. Like, there was no line management or anything. I don't know what was going on. Usually I don't think it's that bad, but in the past I've like gone in my Honda CR-V. So maybe it's because we were in a bigger vehicle, but people were making their own lines and merging and like cutting people off. So somebody tries to like direct us in the right direction to like get to our camping spot, and Dev accidentally drives over a white picket fence, and we're like, oh. And then the Coachella guy is like, oh, you'll just pay for that later. And we're like, oh, okay. Hopefully that doesn't come to bite us in the butt. And it actually doesn't. But we did also kind of scratch the vehicle, which was not great. So it's day 0, and Chance, Mustafa, and Dev, they're out. They're tired, they're sleeping, and I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm ready to drink, and I sound like an alcoholic. I was really excited to go and party with some other people. I found my friend Yvette, and then I found her campsite, because she was also a little bit ways away. Like, we were like camping with the lesbianas, but then like Yvette was in another like camp area. So went over there and then just like drank and partied. We're like playing music. It's a good time. I'm catching up with people that I partied with the year before. So it was just good vibes all around. And I was definitely lit, and I was hyped. And honestly, there's not much else to that. I go back to the campsite. I'm like hungover already. It's like 4 or 5 p.m. because we get in at like 8 a.m. So I basically started drinking at 9. And so we go back, and then they're waking up and we're getting ready. We're gonna go watch the sunset, and then we go and do that. And then Mustafa's taking photos, and it was really cute. But that was awesome. And we were just setting off the vibes for Coachella. It was great. And then it was day 1. Day 1 was great, but I kind of don't remember much of it. And not because I was drunk or like plastered, but I left my phone, and I have the worst memory, unfortunately. But I was just in the moment. But from what I do remember of day 1, it was like all of our favorite artists were playing that day. So I was like, okay, it's races. We have to go from stage A to B, C, D, like Mojave to, I don't even know the names at this point right now. But we were running around that festival, and I feel like, oh wait, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my friend Davy was also going to Coachella with her boyfriend, but they were staying in an Airbnb. So we were just like waiting to meet up with them and stuff, but they were still there. They just weren't camping with us. So day 1, we all meet next to like the rainbow staircase structure thing that is just so iconic and awesome. And we're like hugging, and we're like, yes, this is gonna be awesome. And then we go on our merry ways. I feel like Chance had very specific artists that she wanted to see. So she kind of went and solo tripped, and she had like the best experience ever. And then me, Dev, Mustafa, Davy, Davy's boyfriend, like we were all mostly on the same page, but definitely we're like passing each other off to go to different sets and all of that. But on day 1, we saw 3-6 Mafia, who is like really, really fun. And then AG Cook. And sorry, I literally have to write this down because I've been to so many music festivals, flex, that I truly do forget a lot of the performances that I see. I need to be better about it, but after a while it kind of just becomes a blur unless they are like main headliners that I hadn't seen before. But yeah, so 3 6 Mafia, we saw a little bit of Joe, we saw the Marias, which was awesome. And my number one artist that I wanted to see that day was Marina and the Diamonds, and nobody else really wanted to. But then Davey was like, okay, you know what, I have to, like, as a pop girly, we have to listen to like the first song, which was like How to Be a Heartbreaker. And then yeah, we tried to walk away because there was like another set we wanted to go to. And then Marina was just playing banger after banger after banger. So we ended up staying for all of Marina's set and just having our little like girly pop moment and just singing all the songs together, which was awesome. But yeah, and then at the end of the night, I think it was Missy Elliott as the headliner, if I'm remembering correctly, or Green Day. But yeah, we watched like a little bit of Missy Elliott, and I think we decided to call it an early night. And I know that's not that exciting, but we ended up going back to the campsite and then getting ready for, oh wait. Oh, I'm so silly. No, day one was Gaga night, duh. So we watched a little bit of Missy Elliott, and then we waited for Gaga. We like were camping out, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this queen. I watched her live stream the weekend before and I was like, this is going to be amazing. But it was just like really funny because Chance met up with us after like being gone the whole day, and she had made like a guy friend who I think was trying to like hit on her and stuff. So, but she was over it. She was like, you know what, we had our like time, and we're just like all in a circle, and he's kind of just like lost puppy like with us, and we're like, okay. And then finally he's like, okay, I think I'm gonna leave. Like she was hiding under like a poncho, or I think we had an emergency blanket. She was just hiding from him and stuff. But finally he ended up leaving, and then it was just really funny because it's just like, there were just trains of little monsters basically going through, and we were trying to get as close as possible to the platform, and like we would just get cut off. It would be like, can I say a gaggle of gays? Like, is that wrong? Is that wrong? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm an ally. I don't mean it in a negative way. So, but it was just like awesome being in that crowd waiting for Miss Gaga, and then she like came on and whoo, I don't have videos because once again, I was off the grid. Oh wait, actually, I think somebody went and grabbed my phone. I think Dev brought my phone back because I wanted to record her. So yeah, and then we ended up going back to the campsite and falling asleep. Now day 2, this is where things get a little crazy. Me and Chance were sleeping kind of in like the roof of the van, which is like really cool, but it starts to get really hot because the sun, I feel like, it just comes beaming through. I mean, no matter what, if you're camping in like a tent or a car and you're in a hot place, it's going to become uncomfortable. Like you don't wake up because you're waking up. You're waking up because it's hot and like you're getting uncomfortable and you're like, I can't like sleep in this heat. So, which is kind of what happened to me. And so I was early bird that day. I think it was like 7 or 8 a.m. And I climbed the little ladder, and then I'm just like scrolling on TikTok, and then I have my feet up on the table, like the little dining table, while I'm scrolling and stuff, and I'm wearing like my PJs. So I'm done scrolling, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get up and like get a snack. Tell me why. I get up, and then it is Niagara Falls of blood. And since I'm wearing shorts, when I stand up, it is just immediate like blood streaming down my leg. Luckily, I believe I was wearing sandals. So I put my sandals on, and then it's just a pool of blood in my sandals. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. I've literally never experienced anything like this before, like period wise. So I was a little startled. I was like, okay, this is scary. And it just like wasn't stopping. And I was like, okay. And then so I open up the van door, and then I'm like standing outside in the grass, and then I'm like reaching for paper towels and trying to wipe away all the blood that's like all over the ground. And then like just a couple feet away is like Mustafa and Dev sharing a bed. So I'm like trying to be like quiet about it. I'm like freaking out because Mustafa's like on the side closer to me, and I'm like trying to get Dev and stuff because it just won't stop. It just won't stop flowing. And then also for context, I did start a new birth control at this point. It was the Ring, and it was like my 2nd month of using it, but the 1st month I didn't really have like a bad reaction or anything like that. So was thinking maybe it had to do something with this, but it was just still so scary and alarming. And I was like, oh. And so I'm cleaning it up, and then I'm just bleeding all over my sandals and grass outside of the van. And so I have to like walk around over to the window where Dev is sleeping, and I'm like tapping, like, Dev, I'm bleeding, please, I need you to wake up, I need help. And so he like gets up, and he's such a sweetie, and then he's like wrapping a towel around me, and he has to like escort me basically to the porta potties. And that's like the other like worst part about this is like, oh fuck, like I can't even use like a proper bathroom. I have to go deal with this in a porta potty. And oh my God, guys, it was a crime scene in there. It was like as if somebody had been stabbed to like death in there. It was scary. Dude, it was so bad because I was trying to change and like put in a tampon and stuff. And then like I just kept bleeding. Like the bleeding would not stop. So when I was like bending over and all this stuff, it was just like splattered all over the ground. And yeah, I literally had to like get down and like wipe it because I'm like, I can't have somebody coming in here and they're like, oh my gosh, like what happened in here? There's so much blood. Once again, sorry if this is TMI, but the consistency was also very different from what my period consistency normally is. And it was like more plasma-y. So I would wipe, and then when the blood was like gone, it would just be like leftover plasma, like clear liquid. And I was like, this is really weird for me. From there, I'm like, we gotta call a doctor because this is not okay. This is just not okay. I can't be bleeding all of Coachella and camping. It's uncomfortable. I get in the line for the mobile showers. And while I'm doing that, I'm calling a teledoc doctor and I'm telling her my symptoms. I had also like mentioned to her that at some point that week, Dev and I had sex. Ooh. And it was really painful. And like normally it's never painful. Not normally, it really is never painful, but for some reason it was painful that one time. And yeah, so I like told her that. And then Miss Doctor goes straight to, oh, you might be having an ectopic pregnancy.
Huh?
Oh, you know, that's like when the egg's like outside of the tube and like you might be miscarrying right now. Miscarrying at Coachella. I was like, please do not. No, that can't be happening. And I told her, I was like, I'm in Palm Springs right now. Like, I can't get this checked out. Like, or is there like an urgent care or something? I don't know if urgent care is the right place, but is there a hospital that takes my insurance nearby where I can get this checked out? And she's like checking like for Palm Springs. No. And then also like, we don't have any availability until like May anyways. And I was like, that's great. Don't you just love the American healthcare system? How awesome. Like I'm dealing with this right now and the next available date you have to check me is in May. Awesome. So what she told me was like, what I can do for now is put in a prescription like to stop the bleeding and stuff. And luckily Coachella has these like buses that will go to Ralph's and come back so people can go get like necessities that they really need. So Dev and I, we hopped on that bus, and then luckily I was able to pick up my prescription from like a CVS pharmacy, and then that helped to like stop the bleeding. So we come back. Oh, I also got pregnancy tests too, because I was like, what the hell? I better not be pregnant at Coachella. That's crazy. I'm sure it's like happened to someone, but I was like, that better not be happening. So, you know, went back, and then we're in the porta potty. I'm in the porta potty. I'm pissing on a stick. And then, you know, I got two, and both of them said negative. So I was like, okay, I don't think I'm pregnant. And also if I were miscarrying, I think I probably would have like not been able to walk, I would assume. And I would have known, you know? So yeah, so we take the I keep saying I'm in a bad habit of doing that. So I take the meds. I'm feeling better. At least I know I'm not pregnant. And then I get ready. I put on my little Charli XCX fit because this is Charli Day, and it's like a white tank top and then my shades and then like these like blue sparkly shorts, and I was so excited. And the shirt had like a brat saying, which I'm not gonna say on here because it's incriminating, but you guys can try to guess and figure out what it was. But we started drinking Buzzball. I'm like, okay, you know what? We figured it out. Can't do much about it right now. We'll figure it out later, blah, blah, blah. So drinking the Buzz Ball. We're filling up our little plastic sacks to, oh, I also forgot, sorry y'all, while we were at Ralph's getting medication or at CVS getting medication, our fucking campsite started to flow away. So we had a tent, and I think it was just Chance that was there. I forgot where Mustafa was. I think he might have been sleeping, but Chance was up and like getting ready for the day, and then our tent flew off. It flew off, and she had to chase it down with other people. So it was a little cursed. That day was a little cursed. But yeah, we came back and everything had been settled and stuff, and we just start getting ready, and we're filling up our little plastic bags to put in our boots and stuff so we can drink it inside of the festival, because Lord knows everything is so expensive inside of there, especially food. We go to see disco lines first. I'm like, yes, like I'm feeling lit. It's awesome. We're dancing. And I'm like, oh my God, we're so close to seeing Charli. And then little Miss Dumb Me forgot to bring the pills with me. I probably should have. I thought I took enough pills for the day. So we start walking. We start walking towards Charli. The guys are like, okay, I have to use the bathroom. So we're like, okay. And I'm like, I think I need to use the bathroom too. And I start getting these like cramps in my stomach. And I'm like, oh God, no. And I'm like, okay, I need to go into the bathroom too. I go into the bathroom. I have these terrible cramps. And then like, I just start getting lightheaded in the porta potty. And I'm like, this is terrible. And then it started making me emotional because I was like, this can't be happening again. Like, please. And then dude, also I was like bleeding through tampons so fast. And once again, not really like too much blood, but it was also a lot of plasma. So like every 30 minutes it was like, okay, I need to like go change this because I'm uncomfortable. So I come out of the porta potty and I'm in pain. I'm just like, my stomach's killing me. I feel lightheaded and I feel like I'm gonna faint. And you know, I just start crying. I like cry into Dev's arms and I'm like, I don't feel good. And then I was like, everybody else just go watch Charli. And they went to go watch Charli. And yeah, and like I was in so much pain that I could not walk back to the campsite. And by the way, our campsite and the main stage that we're at are on like polar opposite ends. So I was like, I don't even think I can walk back to the campsite if I wanted to. So Dev and I, we just sit on the grass far away from our friends and like next to the porta potties. And I'm watching Charli cry. I'm watching Charli while I'm crying and I'm like, this is not Brat. This is so not Brat. And then to make matters even better, a couple of feet behind me was somebody that I knew from working in the music festival scene. So like, finally, when I felt better to like walk back to the campsite, which was like so sad because I watched like 2 Charli songs. So I didn't really get to see her set, but that's okay. I'm like getting up because Dev and I were gonna go back to the campsite. And I was also just like sad because I was like, this is like his first Coachella kind of. And I feel like I'm like ruining it with like my health complications right now. But he was such a sweetie and like he walked me back. But anyways, as I was saying, while I was getting up, somebody was like, Sophia, is that you? And I turn around, I'm just like crying. I'm like, I'm sorry, this is a bad time. This is a bad time. I'm like, of course, out of all of the thousands of people here, I run into somebody while I'm like having a breakdown at Coachella. I'm like, okay, cool. So whatever, she's a sweetie though. I like told her about it later and yeah. So Dev and I, we go back and he's a sweetie and he makes me a bagel with cream cheese and was just like holding me while I was crying because I was so sad. Because I mean, also guys, like Coachella is just so expensive. So I thought I was like wasting my money and I'm like, I know I probably should be like more concerned about my health and stuff, but that's a lot of money to just kind of go down the drain. And I was like, fuck, like, is this like my whole Coachella experience for this year? Like, I really hope not. But he was a sweetie, and then he like hot spotted like some Grey's Anatomy, and then we just like laid there. I had to throw away my outfit, which sucked because it was so cute, but like I soaked it. It was soaked. Like those pants could not be worn again. Luckily they were from Shein, so, but it was still sad. So I had to throw that away, and then he gave me a nice comfortable hoodie and boxers, but. Finally, after watching like an episode of Grey's Anatomy, I was like, okay, I want to try to go back out there. But the thing is, I was just like emotionally and physically tired and I felt chopped. I felt so chopped from crying and I was wearing, like, I didn't have any comfortable clothing. It was all like skimpy little clothing, little skirts, shorts, like my butt's out. And I was like, I don't want to be bleeding the whole time. And like, I ended up wearing his hoodie and boxers back into the festival. And I just looked like so emo with my hoodie up. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is not it. But like, at least I feel comfortable enough to like try to dance. But energy was just low, y'all. We go back in, we meet up with Mustafa, Davey, Chance. They're all at Horse Girl. And from there, we're like, okay, I'm like, we should go to the Yuma because I think the Yuma is awesome. And like, you guys have to see the Yuma. So we're walking to the Yuma, and then along the way, Travis Scott, we pass his performance, and I personally did not think it sounded great. And I was like, I don't really care to see Travis Scott. But then Mustafa and Davey were like, no, we would like to stay. We're like, okay, cool. Stay right here. Like, we have a blanket here. Stay right here. And then me, Chance, and Dev, we're gonna go to the Yuma and we'll come back. And then we'll all walk back to the campsite. And they're like, okay, cool. Bet. Like, awesome. So Chance, Dev, and I, we go to the Yuma real quick. We're just checking it out. It's a vibe. We're like, yeah, cool. And then we try to come back to Travis Scott. And it was like literally where a light pillar light post was. They're not there. I'm like, okay. So we text them, we're like, where are you guys? And they're like, we're a little further up. I'm like, okay. So we're walking closer to the stage, and then we see Mustafa like wobbling out or something. I think Davey like texted in the chat, like we have to take Mustafa to like first aid or something like that. And basically what had happened was Mustafa got into the mosh pit for Travis Scott. Which is like, brother, why? Now, why would you do that? We all know about Astroworld. Why would you get into that mosh pit of all the mosh pits? So he basically stepped on his leg weird or something and twisted it. And so we had to like take him all the way over to first aid. It was just a whole thing because I think there wasn't really much they could do about it, unfortunately. Once again, Daddy Dev, sorry if that's cringe, but he was being father. He was being father this trip, okay? Driving the car, taking care of me, freaking helping Mustafa with his leg. He was father, okay? So that's what I mean by Daddy Dev. It's not sexual, okay? But yeah, he's helping Mustafa, and he's there for like hours. Like I think it was until like 1 or 2 a.m. because me and Chance like ended up going back to the van and we're just like waiting and stuff. But once again, there just wasn't much they could do since it wasn't broken. Like, yeah, he ended up coming back with Dev. I think he got like carted over to our campsite. And then finally the next day we're like trying to get like a golf cart over, and we end up leaving to go to Davey and her boyfriend's Airbnb. And then we're like, we gotta stop at CVS. We gotta get this man crutches, a knee brace. So we went to CVS, we did that. And then I'm just still like dying from bleeding and stuff. Not actually dying. We go to CVS, we get what we need. I get freaking diapers at this point because I'm like, I just can't even like, I don't know. And I just felt so nasty and it sucked. It freaking sucked camping doing that. And so we go to the Airbnb, and then I'm like, finally a real shower, not a mobile shower. Oh, that shower hit, y'all. And then we all watched Shrek, and we just like pre-gamed for day 3. And yeah, vibes were kind of like meh still. I think everybody was tired. And then we go back for day 3, and we only saw 1 or 2 sets because I feel like all of the main sets we wanted to see were on day 1 and day 2. I just saw Zed with Dev and Chance, and then we went to go see Amel and the Sniffers, and that was a good time. But yeah, it was just like, it was a chill day that day. You know, we were just like bouncing around casually and like, yeah, we're just enjoying the vibes. Mustafa was at the campsite though because he just couldn't do too much on his leg, unfortunately. R.I.P. Mustafa. We're sorry that was your first Coachella experience, but I swear it's better. Dev was tired, so he ended up going back to the campsite, and then me and Chance were like, we have to make the most of tonight because yesterday was kind of a flop, so we have to make the most of it. So we just hung out at Do Lab for the rest of the night, and we talked politics over at Do Lab. And I won't say what we talked about, but it was just like really funny because we were like drinking, and it's like, yeah, politics this, politics that, while there's like house music going on in the background. So I just thought that was funny. And then from there, we went back to the campsite. We got our Borg, which if you guys don't know, I forget what it stands for, but it's like a gallon of water or vodka. It's not water. It's a gallon of vodka and you put like Mio like flavoring in there, and then that's your Borg. So we had made a similar one. I think it was that. So we made that, and I'm like taking it, and we're like, we're gonna go to the silent disco. And we go to the silent disco. And by the way, I told Dev this. I told everybody this. I'm like, my phone is dead and it's going to take too long to charge, so I'm leaving it here. I'm going off the grid. She meets up with some friends that she knows, and they're talking, and then I do the thing that I need to stop doing, and I end up wandering away over to the actual silent disco tent, because we were like in the camp activities tent. So I'm like, I'm gonna go say hi to my friends. And I think I told her that. So I go to do that, and then I never like come back. I'm just like hanging out in the silent disco with the Borg, passing it around, probably spreading disease around Coachella, you know, the norm, catching up with my friends, dancing. And then at some point I was like, okay, I think it's time to go back to the van. And so, or I had like gone back to the camp activities area. One of those two. I go back though, and then they're like, oh my God, there you are. Like, we've been looking for you all night. And I was like, what? Why? Nothing happened. I was just at the silent disco, and they're like, Deb's been looking in the porta potties for you. We thought you went missing. And I was like, what? No. I was just at the silent disco saying hi to some people that I know. And so I felt really bad. I was like, oh, I probably should have communicated that a little better. And that's why, guys, don't go MIA on your friends, because then they'll worry, and, you know, it's a safety thing. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Dev. I was okay. So that was kind of the end of the last night of Coachella. If I had to rate this Coachella out of 10, it was like maybe 7 out of 10. It's been 10 out of 10 in past years, or like 9 out of 10. So this one was definitely cursed with like with the period from hell, and then a torn ACL, our tent flying away, and then like me going missing for a little bit. It was just like, yeah, I would give it a 7 out of 10, but I do still recommend it. I feel like the health complications are what got to us. But just so you guys know, my journey after Coachella, my reproductive health journey, basically I went to the doctor like a month and a half later, and they had to do a bunch of like intravaginal sonograms and ultrasound. Basically, it was a whole thing. It's a whole thing, guys. If you get an ultrasound, you have to hydrate, and you can't pee before. You need a full bladder, which I did not know. So they're looking in my bladder, and they're like, can't see your ovaries. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have ovaries. My ovaries, they're non-existent. That was not the case. It's because I didn't drink water and not pee. So I had to make another appointment, and then got another ultrasound, and then they were like, okay, you need an MRI. I'm like, great, this is awesome. Go to get an MRI. Guys, I have a bicornuate uterus, which means it's heart-shaped. So my uterus is bisexual, apparently. So that's what I learned from Coachella. And what came out of that was, well, why the bleeding? If I've had a bicornuate uterus my whole life, why the bleeding? It was probably a cyst that burst as a side effect from your birth control. Oh, okay. So not pregnant at Coachella, but yeah. And now I'm on a whole journey of trying to figure out what birth control to go on to. I'm on the pill right now, and I bleed while I'm on the actual pill and not the placebo week. It's a whole thing, guys, but go to the doctor, write it down, and get it checked out before you go to a camping festival. That's my Coachella story. If you want to hear about other music festival stories, or just hear more anecdotes from my life, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and I will be back with new videos every Thursday. Thanks, guys. Bye.